All right, everybody, welcome in. This is going to be some 2v2 action today, and this is part of our community 2v2s that we often will play. Tonight's just a random Wednesday. What night is it? Tuesday night gaming. And we're just on the Discord. Come on down and play if you want to play with us. And you can see here that we already have our cool players doing their cool action here. We've got an arc ship from jayzn and the Shrine from Play Weird doing their business to put themselves both on the same screen so I can introduce them at the same time. Of course, using that fun little celestial mining trick to speed up the mining of the Infernal there. Extra arc ship going down so you can get more of that action. See how there's long distance mining there? That's gonna so the imps can mine from both. And their opponents over here, we got Thanks playing the Vanguard faction in the orange color. And playing red, playing the Infernal. This is butter. Smooth like butter. Like that BTS song from a few years ago. What a great track. And Butter's moving out to do some creeping with his Brute and his two Gaunts out of a pretty standard opening build here. Shrine already up. And Thanks has two racks. Behind those two racks, two Lancers. That's what we saw in the last game too. He's just sending those first two Lancers across the map. There was a little discussion on the Discord today about who wins the battle, the Brutes or the Lancers. Brutes have this DPS and Lancers are bad, is what the consensus was. And that this kind of engagement was not supposed to be feasible for the Vanguard, although we've already seen one Brute go down to those Lancers, although I think it may have been split. It seemed like it died quickly. I'm not sure why. But now we have extra Brutes out. That's definitely going to push those Lancers back. And we got these three Argents from jayzn to join them. So there's actually a small little joint force here. Whereas on the other side of the map, Butter was using the Brutes and Gaunts that he had created. There they are. To go take some towers. And that's while... There we go. Lancers from Thanks also stole this. So they actually did a really good job of basically jacking some creeps and getting a little pressure on. Lancers turning with some fiends. Where are they headed? Looking for a base. There's no base there to find. And there's no... Oh, there is a base here. That's just not complete yet. And Lancers show up. And this base is going to go down real quick. Although we see that got canceled, so the Morph Core stays. But, oh, Morph Core gets zotted. And now the Lancers want to maybe do some damage over here. And this is going to be a full engage. We got Brutes and Gaunts going for the Argents. The Lancers have split. Some are holding the Brutes off on the left-hand side. The others have joined in to fight on the right-hand side. Now the Brutes have dealt with the Lancers, and it's now Brute on Brute action. A few Lancers are still alive, actually. And we see that there are reinforcements on the outside trying to deal with a few of those Lancers as they run through. And that was a pretty solid hold. Play Weird with a lot of forces out here. Butter's forces in retreat. And... the light team is out on the move again. It looks like they're going to go try and steal this vision camp. Whereas back home here, we have a base up for Butter, as well as a fourth base up for Butter. So Butter is on 4 bases. Thanks only on 2. And it looks like it's back to creeping for a moment for both sides. Luminite camp here for the cool team. And the warm team takes out the energy camp. And it looks like maybe going for the vision camp next. And we do have Argents and a Kree in tow from jayzn. And he's on 2 creation with the... Oh yeah, I forgot that this got cancelled in that earlier harass. So jayzn is set back by that harassment. Farm explodes. Actually, both those... I was going to say both got cancelled, but I don't know if that's exactly true. This is a good fight for Butter and Thanks. They've got the concave here. Nice Nightfall Infestation actually going both ways. And that means that the army from Play Weird actually gets pulled apart. Few Argents that are here are going to get chased down. And so that's a failed attack, and they're going to have to go into retreat now. We get another little engage in the center of the map. Argents do get taken out, but not without doing a little bit of damage. And okay, those don't look like they're upgraded yet. They're still just link nodes. And here we go. Butter coming in. Going to take out that first link node, no problem. And now we got Brutes and Gods for Brutes and Gods. 1 Megalodon pushing through, and a lot of those Brutes were low. So they're actually going to go down to that trample. And Thanks does show up with his Hedgehogs. And gets a little skirmish there on the front line. Kills a couple Brutes. But is not trying to go toe-to-toe with either of those armies just yet. Butter, I was wondering what he's doing. I think he might be trying to go for a little bit of a flank if he can. Catch some of these units off. Thanks. Aggroed those units, and then his... Yeah, something's... The pathing on his Hedgehogs is not doing what he wants. Although he has somehow bought time for Butter to come over and join him. And so now Butter and he are going to go for the creeping... Oh, Magmadon's pushing through onto those Brutes. That's really good. And folks have been talking about how maybe Brutes counter Mags. I think the right... I mean, while the current stun... The way the stun works, this is true. I think having a few Mags... in your mixture to have exactly the impact we saw there can be helpful. Although at the moment, it is Play Weird who's in retreat and Butter who's got the advantage. So maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. And look at that quick move by Butter to split his units like that. These pre-splits, especially for Infernal, where you have basically little quick flanks created or little quick surrounds if you can. Whereas this engage is not good at all. So he's pulled back some of his units, and now well, again, this is not the best engage for either of them, but I see how he's pulling them back in groups instead of just grabbing the whole control group to pull it back, which I think is good. You box them, you pull back some, that means some of your units remain fighting while the other ones are in retreat instead of everything being in retreat. And so far, that economy from Butter that he got up early, which is, remember, he got up to these 4 bases pretty quick. He's got a 5th one on the way now. That's really allowed him to put together a supply. In fact, his supply alone is almost enough to dwarf the other 2 supply together. Add to that Thanks' supply, which is also quite high. Easily matches either one of them. And this becomes a force that's going to be hard to deal with. Now... Oh, there's some Atlases there. I'm like, what does Thanks have here for his supply? Atlases take up a pretty good chunk. And, okay. This could turn into a flank, although it could be a 2-on-1. So it really depends on how things go. Both sides have Magmadons here, so we're getting a little of that mag-on-mag action. Well, really good tramples from both sides there onto the Brutes. And it looks like Butter and Thanks coming out on top. Remember, more stuff just beats less stuff, and I think that's what was at play there. Although there was some good positioning. And now they're going around the outside. And remember, Butter's still sitting on this enormous supply. Once again, his supply dwarfing the supply of both Play Weird and jayzn. And so this has got to be the final one. A lot of Magmadons here from Butter. I think they become even better when you are ahead like this. Some of the things that might counter them, if you're ahead, they won't have them in enough detail or enough size, enough numericity to deal with it. And right now, I think that's what we're dealing with. Butter and Thanks pushing up here. We get a Manifest Rouse Zone, but it's not going to be able to really counter this force. And Play Weird's calling GG, and so is jayzn. Alright, we're back at it. And this is Play Weird, playing the blue again. Playing the blue. And Play Weird's with Thanks. Is that how the part that was last time? No, I think Butter was with Thanks last game. Thanks is playing the teal again and playing in the Vanguard. But their opponents both are going Infernal. We got Butter and jayzn rocking the Infernals in the red and the orange. And that's going to be hard for me to keep track of. They're just team hot. They're hot. They got that heat. And they're doubled up on the left side. This is a weird lopsided Boneyard map. And this is, of course, the two-player Boneyard map. Got a imp pacing back and forth. That's a jayzn imp. See, this is what I'm talking about. I'm not going to be able to tell. Is that a red imp or an orange imp? You might be able to tell, but my eyes are not quite as good. The health bars are actually good enough for me to tell. But I think some of the paints don't. Where are you going, buddy? You got a bunch of Therium in your hand. You don't... Nah, you got to return that. Oh, get back to... Oh, well. That's some wasted Therium there. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, you do got to return your Therium. That's part of the imp union. If you don't do it, you're going to get written up. But luckily that imp did turn into a shrine, so doesn't have to worry about it anymore. Had to sacrifice himself. Here come those Lancers from Thanks that we've seen the last couple games. And once again, this is not supposed to be a good strategy, and I think Thanks decided actually the Gaunts there make this really bad. Now, if you were jayxp that is, what you try and do is get those Lancers on top of the Gaunts and kill the Gaunts and get some veterancy from that. But I think you might need a few more Lancers to do that, and I'm pretty sure Thanks knows that trick. And if he ran away from that, he probably knows that's not a winning fight. There were, I believe, 2 Brutes and 2 Gaunts there at the time. And we can see already that this army, we basically have 2 Infernal players, both with that early game advantage from the eco, as it is right now, able to pump out a lot of army. So if they're planning to put a push on, say, in another minute or so, they're definitely going to have a numbers advantage and maybe even have some upgrades for those Brutes. What's going over here? It's a effigy. Brutes trying to stay alive. And one does. Taking out the Vision Camp. And did we... Yeah, the Lancers over here got the Energy Camp. And it's just team creeping right now. Normally team creeping is in 1v1 when both players just agree to be a team and share a camp. But in 2v2 you can actually creep with your partner. And that's what we got going on here. Same thing. Just practicing that teamwork before it matters. In a real battle. You just practice. Let's see if we can beat up some NPCs for a second. Yeah? Alright, we can. Then let's go try the other team. Maybe we get that. We got Thanks here. Some of his Lancers getting promotes. Hedgehog is being added. So no Exos I've been noticing from Thanks in these games so far. You can go in Lancer, Hedgehog. And then into Vulcans. And it's Brutes and Gaunts over here. Little engage. And jayzn tries to pull back to get a little better engage, although in this choke it's not super good for them. But as the light team, the cool team starts pulling back, Team Heat starts putting the heat on. Pushing them down. A couple Lancers come and want to do some damage, and they were trying to do that jayzn I was saying about getting on the gaunts. But there's a Magmadon here. Got pushed back out there. That was interesting, because he usually has push priority. And is getting focus fire down, but shields up going down. Once again, loving that shields up on the Magmadon. But now, oh, it also gets the med tech healing kiss. That's great. This team up's pretty good, if you ask me. The Vanguard and Infernal. There's a couple of good synergies there. These Hedgehogs have to get away because a bunch of Fiends are after them. And Fiends are the speediest units in the game, if I remember correctly. Oh, and huge surround, but there's a Vulcan there. Oh no! Fiends getting mowed by the Vulcan. If there wasn't a Vulcan there, that would have been so clutch. But sadly, the Vulcans come to save the day. And that Fiend force cleaned up. And unfortunately for jayzn, that was a lot of his supply. He's kind of going to take some time to remax there. Is going to need maybe a few more production to keep up. He's got a little bit of a bank there, sorry. This farm, and it looks like a shrine got cancelled as Play Weird finds this base. But there are defenders here. Tramples from the Magmadons. Don't really connect with too much. And Butter trying to get a little separation there, a little split, but it's Gaunts on one side, Brutes on the other. I think you kind of want to split them not by type like that. I mean, if one's through your front line, the other's the back line, that might make sense. So Butter pushes his army up and recaptures this high ground to put down those bases he wanted. But meanwhile, it's Hedgehogs on the other side of the map. Manifest Shroudstone comes down, but yeah, a little bit of micro from Thanks is able to take that out pretty easily. That may have just been trying to buy time for these units to get in. And Thanks catches one whiff of that and pulls out. 4 Vulcans, though, over here. Not a super maneuverable army, so if he does push in with those, that's a fairly committed attack. But Play Weird is out on the map, and maybe this is a lure. Thanks is trying to get in here, going for those Shroudstones again, doing a good job of it. Nightfall Infestation catches some of those units, but a system shock clears them, and they're able to escape. Meanwhile, there is an engage going out on the middle of the map between 2 Infernal armies. We've got Butter taking on Play Weird, and it's a weird kind of split around that ramp. And actually, Play Weird ends up being pinned in on both sides, getting flanked, and Thanks coming in to try and help is now going to get pinned up against he uses the jump jets to go through the trees to try and get away, but there's just too many Magmadons here, and the Vulcans cannot deal with them. They get taken out, and that's just a huge supply loss for these two. Luckily, that was on the warm side of the map. We already see reinforcements coming here for this, the most vulnerable part of their base after that fight. A lot of Brutes show up, and the Vulcans pulling back. I'm not sure. They might just trying to be in a better position depending on where that attack might come from. It looks like that this is where the attack is going. This Vision Tower is not currently taken by anyone, which means there's no sign of this attack for the teal team, for the light team, the cool team. And here they come. This base isn't going to be long for the world, but we also have... Oh, I don't know if I like this. The Magmadons are getting trapped here. Oh, getting stunned by jump jets. Really clutch. Hellborn gets taken out. I got really low DP or really low FPS right now for a second. I apologize for that. Sometimes my machine struggles. Let's see if I can fix that. Pretty cool battle going on here, though. Dragon showing up for play weird. There is a battle going on at the bottom, too. Vulcans and Brutes going, but up here it's just a front line versus front line. And we're watching the Brutes have to retreat. Fiends and Phantoms chasing them down. Dragon above. Dragon for the win here as a clutch addition to this army. And oh, here we have Butter coming in from below, but he really needs jayzn to be helping out with units from above as well. And unfortunately, Butter's army gets exterminated, wiped off the map. It's a bloody pulp. Now jayzn shows up with the reinforcements of Butter and a Magmadon in the back trying to push his way to the forward. Finally getting some action, pushing his way through. But it looks like Thanks and Play Weird are going to be able to make this a hold and a push back, and might be able to push in and finish this. That army did push up, but there's a lot of reinforcements there. Creeps decide to get in on the action. They don't want to see a big battle without having a little fun too. And there's a lot of reinforcements from jayzn and Butter, which means that this might be a hold. There are 4 or 5 Vulcans here, as well as a handful of Hellborn. So that's a lot. But Magmadon's coming in with big old stomps, pushing right through. A few of them getting wiped out, but there's just so many that takes them a while for those Vulcans to wipe them out. But for somehow, I really think it's the Phantoms from the Dragon that are really helping here. Doing some tanking, getting a little extra DPS, and that Dragon has been alive this whole time. And what it's able to do is help keep there be a fresh supply of tanks in front of these Vulcans and Hellborn that can lay down so much DPS. So much. And now it's just this base is going to get peeled away. And this has got to be the end for Butter and jayzn. Indeed, they agree with me. Butter calls GG. And that's it. Okay, but let's watch this game. Here we are, once again, another 2v2 action. We got Play Weird, playing as weird as he can, with his partner, and Vanguard Buddy. That's Thanks. Thanks for overcharging my imps, Thanks. And you're like, why would you do that? Well, because if you do that, look how fast that farm built. Oh my goodness! That farm was lightning. Holy moly. Someone write a feedback post right now. This is OP. OP. Overcharge shroud buildings. Okay, I like that. I only introduced half our team. The other side, the warm team, playing in the red. This is jayzn, the Inferno. Watch out for his fury. And his partner, also Vanguard, also with that cool overcharge ability. This is jayxp123. This is Team J. jayzn and jayxp. Just because of that synergy, I'm already cheering for these teams. Let's go, Team J. And speaking of Team J, don't tell anyone yet, but I think I know what Jay's up to. Jay's going command posts. He's got this build where if he can get 7 command posts, he wins. So he's going for command... Oh, wait, he might be adding barracks. So he is going 2 command posts before barracks. And there are some brutes out for jayzn. Maybe jayzn's in charge of the defense right now. He's got 2 vaults. He does have another base down. On the other side of the map, it is Brutes and Gaunt's out for Play Weird with a more standard style, and we saw his little speedy build over here. And Thanks is on only 2 command posts. He's not doing the fancy 3 command post build that JXP is. But they have a plan. We saw their little plan with the alerts to go for the health camp and then the 2 vision camp. And we are seeing the Brutes out from jayzn also getting a slower start on their speed camp. Well, JXP is adding racks, has got a BK lounge on the way too, and is sending the first Lancer across the map. That Lancer is going to be disappointed to find out that there is an enormous army over here and that the Lancer is dead. Because he's going to be like, oh, gee, everyone's here. Oh, I'll take out that effigy and then I'll just run away like a Speedy McGee. Zippity-doo-dah. So didn't die, actually. Managed to survive. Just because Lancers are pretty healthy and speedy. They can get out of there. Health camp gets taken by jayzn. Remember, he took the speed camp earlier. But we do have this force here that has taken the vision camp and is... Ooh, watch out, jayzn. You don't want to take him on without your partner. Now, where is the army of JXP? So far, he's just made a bunch of barracks, which will be good for an army in about 40 seconds when a bunch of units pop out. But for now, the army's actually in the base. And they're going for one of those racks. What's coming out of that rack? An exo. We got a bunch of exos coming out. If they can get out, that's going to be helpful. We do see a few of them already up there. And wow, shields up on a Lancer, keeping it alive. And Jay with his exo control could be enough to hold here. One of the racks is going to go down, but that's an easy price to pay. And that's a hold. That's a hold. Oh, wait. Thanks is deciding maybe I can come in here and do just a little bit more damage. But really, the exos alone here, I think, should be enough to push that smaller force back. Not that there were more exos there, but the exo with their control and with Jay behind them, I would say they're going to stay alive for a long time. And unless you have a big, overwhelming force, you don't really want to be fighting them in their base, where the SimCity and the servos and everything else is going to work to their advantage. So that's what we're seeing here from Team J. Right now it's JXP leading the charge with his Bioforce, with jayzn showing up behind also with some Tier 1 units. And what do we got? We got exos streaming across the map here. And the supply, let's see, it's about 150 to a little bit 150, 160. So Team Cool is just a little bit ahead in supply there. But the supply is just a little bit more lopsided on Team J. Brutes in front, managed to get on the front line there. This is actually pretty good for Team J, but it's a lot of units from both of the other armies, which means this not going to be able to go toe-to-toe. But this is the kind of control I'm talking about. Jay will just stutter step these exos all the way back to his base. He doesn't even really care that you might have more units. He's going to just try and take efficient trades after efficient trade on the way home. And he does until Team Cool decides to regroup. And you see Thanks wanting to do the same thing. This is the first time I've seen Thanks play exos in these team games tonight. Again, some nice control out of Jay as he stutter steps back, buying time for jayzn to bring more of his units. He's got Brutes and Megs, and look as he's trying to get a good... Oh, yes. Okay, so he's kind of got a bit of a flank here, but actually some of his units end up engaging with Thanks' units, and that's actually not working the way he's going to want. He kind of wanted to double team on Play Weird while Thanks was out of position. And he did chase those units back. But it was kind of an awkward hold, but it was a hold. SimCity is definitely helping over here. More Magmadon showing up. But Thanks decides to circle around the bottom and has gone for the speed camp. And these look very close, but there's a lot of impassable terrain in between there. Meanwhile, Playweird's gone up to the top and tried to do a little bit of an attack. We see the U-turn signal coming from Thanks saying, hey, head on home. You're doing a 2v1 here. Meanwhile, Thanks says, oh, you've got that army dealing with up there. I'm going to try and take out some of the eco of jayzn, and gets in and then zoots away as soon as he sees some brutes. I think that was a little premature, because he didn't know that that was the whole army. It wasn't the whole army. It was just one round of units out of production. Oh, jayxp getting caught there with the Nightfall Infestation, but the Magmadons show up in time to make a pretty sturdy front line. Ah, but it's a flank coming in from Thanks. Needs to use the System Shock to kind of get away, but then uses it to instead get a little bit of concave before actually that eroded away, and it's now jayxp with the concave. And those Magmadons still doing a pretty good job up on the high ground. And while this is a fun little engage, especially since it's two players trying to control the front line here, jayzn's been using his units, but now his mags and brutes have melted. And it's jayxp who's going to try and use the choke here, 300 style, to try and hold off some of those melee units. But it's Hellborn in the back, laying down a lot of damage, and Exo's on the low ground, able to add to that. But still, jayz says, jayxp doesn't care. He's pushing forward. jayzn showing up with a few extra brutes to help as well. And somehow it's Team J that's continuing to make little steps forward here as they push into this army. And now it's the SimCity of Thanks that's going to help out in defense. We hear one Hellborn going down, and jayxp pushing right into this SimCity, not minding too much, using it just as much to reduce his own surface area. Sentinel showing up for Thanks. And it looks like these units are just, for the moment, on a move from jayxp. Now he's back to controlling them as some become in threat. Huge round of brutes show up on the front line, and they go charging in, helping to break that front line. To be honest, there is a med station in the back there. Med station? Yeah, med station. Trying to remember if that's the accurate name. Big old trample. Oh, big old trample. But that's one of the issues with Magmadons against Exos. They can get in there, but if the Exos focus fire down, they melt so fast. Oh, Dragon showing up on both sides. Pardon me, I got a little hiccups here. Dragons on both sides. Dragon versus dragon. Let me spit my fire in your face, and vice versa. Still, though, jayxp's little force here of Exos and Medtechs, Lancers showing up to help be a front line. They've just been steadfast and able to just push in here to very slowly destroy this production of Thanks. And again, we also see the reinforcements of jayzn coming in to help out. The dragon above also helping to cast down extra phantoms. Another barracks goes down. 3 sentinels here is unfortunately more sentinels than you need. At least at this point and against this comp. And one of the dragons is going for those sentinels now, making them expensive losses. Ooh, Spriggan's showing up for jayzn now too. Those are going to be helpful. And Thanks doing his best to try and stay in this with his units. Play weird also regrouping with him. But the dragon above is very punishing from jayzn. And JXP is, again, still just very slowly melting away this base. Barracks at a time. The shrine goes down here. A bunch of brutes explode. Vulcan pops out and also dies. And that's going to be GG from Thanks. And a GG from Playweird.